Good evening, everyone. It's Brittany. I'm back with a new video. Sorry about the upload. I didn't get around to uploading tomorrow. I've been really sick the past week with working at my normal day job I worked over 30 hours this week, and then having on top of that a sinus infection, a respiratory infection. Just been really down. I'm starting now to feel a little bit better. So I am here uploading another video for you guys. This was supposed to be up yesterday, but like I said, I was pretty sick, so I didn't get around to it. If you guys are ever wondering what's behind me, like this little edge sticking out, that's a pillow. I have 4 different diseases from falling through a bed due to a company's own negligence. I'm not going to say the company's name, which happened about 8 years ago. So I do have pillows behind my back since I can't sit comfortably on the floor. I do my paranormal videos from the bathroom with my tripod talking to you guys. So if you're ever wondering what's behind me, that is what's sticking out. Now today we're going to talk about the house that I grew up in from when I was born a little baby, from 1994 to about 2011. We had to actually move out. We were forced to move out. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end, so stay tuned to kind of figure out what exactly happened. The story is going to have pretty interesting at the end about where my brother was almost possessed by a demon from my house. He did say that I can go ahead and use that in the story, talk about it, because I in fact did see the demon, and I'll explain to you what I saw at the end of the video. So the first thing really that I want to note is I was about 10 or 11 whenever I first had my paranormal experience. One of the first things is we had a halogen lamp which puts out a lot of electricity. They're pretty old. I'll try to find a picture and attach it, but it had these knobs on the side where you actually had to turn it to get it to click on, and it would be off. But one day while we were sitting on the couch, we had a sectional, so it was one of the corner couches. We had one of those, and all of a sudden we were just sitting around. It was me and my mom at the house, and the halogen lamp clicked on, and then it clicked off and clicked on again and stayed on. We said, well, that's weird. We didn't have it on. We haven't turned it on in a long time. We went ahead and turned it off, and that was one thing. Another thing is we would come home and we had different photographs that would hang up on the wall, and they would be all of them there was maybe about 8 photos on the wall, and when we got home they would be turned on their side. They would just be hanging like crooked on their side. And that was another thing. A lot of times we would hear footsteps down the hallway. We would see different shadows in the house. Doors would be open in the middle of the night. We had 2 dogs. We first had Angel, which I'll talk about her in a little bit. We had to put her down due to her being old, and her body was just shutting down. She lived a really good life. She lived 18 years. I got her when I was 2. We rescued her. And then we had an older dog named Jazzy, and that was my mom's birthday present. Unfortunately, we had to put him down a few years ago because he got really sick and couldn't walk anymore either. And they weren't living good lives, so we went ahead and put them down. Like I said in my other video, the house that we lived in had a metal roof, and metal roofs can be conductors for electricity, and where we lived at was a trailer park, so our house was really, really haunted. Some of the stuff that I can recount, I wrote down notes, of course. Again, a little bit of the backstory is that there was a mom and a son, I believe, that lived here. Because anytime my mom would try and call, they would always hang up on her and never really gave her a backstory about our home. And the son, I believe, had passed away inside the house. One of the things is also I would never sleep in my room, and the reason being is that so if you looked at our house, there were 2 windows. It's basically a split room before we took down the wall, so my room was pretty big. It took up most of the front of the house up until like the front door. It was pretty big, and we went ahead and took that wall out, so I had like double the size of a room. Always cold, no matter if we insulated it, if we put like the silver taping around the window seals. I mean, it was completely sealed off, but it was still cold, always cold in one certain spot. And I never slept in it. It always scared me, the room. I would always see like shadow figures in it, so I always slept with my mom in her room. One thing is that also This story is going to be kind of everywhere, just because it's usually how my stories are, but just so I can remember certain things. There's really no chronological order that I can remember. I'm just kind of telling you guys what I went through with my experience living in a haunted house, growing up in one. Our older dog, Jazzy, he was a Cocker Spaniel, and he would stand up on us sometimes, and he would growl and bark and pretend like he was going to attack us, almost like he was trying to attack something. And I'll try and attach photos throughout. I'm not sure if I can find a lot of them, but the photos will be credited if I do find them, for my mom, Teresa Hill, and my brother, Joseph Market. But I'm going to try and find pictures and spread them out sporadically throughout this video. If I can't, I apologize, since it's been a long time. But she would take photos of like this creature that would crawl on the wall, and we figured that's actually, it took us a long time to remember it. We thought he was just trying to like attack us, but he would always be staring at something that was behind us, and we figured out that it was actually a crawler that was in our house that would crawl up the walls, and he would see it, because a lot of animals can actually see spirits. You guys hear crying by the door, since I do film in my bathroom. My dog Coda is wanting in, so I apologize about that. Another thing is Angel, which was our other Cocker Spaniel. She was a rescue dog, so we got her when I was 2, and she was one of the best dogs ever, and so was Jazzy. Like, they were so sweet. Well, we were just sitting on the couch one day, and we had the sectional, so we were sitting there talking back and forth, me and my mom, and we said, well, we wonder if her spirit's up at heaven. And they have a card whenever they euthanize an animal that says, you know, sorry for your loss, and the vet signs it. A lot of music boxes throughout. This one particular one had a little girl playing a piano on it. The music box was sitting, the piano, the music box itself with the cards started turning, just barely. And we would have the music boxes, and every once in a while they would play, and just little bits and pieces of music, which was another paranormal experience that we had happen in the house. So if I look down, I'm reading my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. One thing is our next door neighbor, which she knew me ever since I was a little baby. She lived next door to us, and her house burned down. I think it was from her leaving a heater running. It's gone, and she had 3 dogs. We found them successfully. Me and my brother looked everywhere for them, and it was pouring rain, and her house, it was complete loss. We went ahead and found her little dogs, but one thing that we found was like some pictures that we were able to save. The Bible. Well, the Bible, the edges of it would be burned to a crisp, but on the inside you could actually see like the burn mark around on the pages where the pictures were inside, but you could see where they burned. You could still read the Bible though. We had deadbolts, which they are 2 different locks on a door, but you had to unlock it. And in the middle of the night, we would have them open on different occasions, and we know that we lock them and close them, because we always lock our doors. They would be open in the middle of the night. One time, Angel actually showed us that they were open. Went ahead and closed them. That was another paranormal experience that we had. My mom was watching a show called A Haunting. On the show, she heard the washer and dryer start banging really loud, like it had been overfull of clothes. But when she went back to check on it, the knobs were off. So the washer and dryer was still making noise, but it was off. We had the hallway, which the soot prints, it almost looked like you had dipped your hand in a thing of soot and ran it down the wall. It was, the wallpaper that we had was like, almost like a vinyl-y material that if you scratched it, like you could see where you scratched it. It was really, I don't know what kind of wallpaper they call that, but it was really soft. It's very hard to describe. If you know, maybe leave it down in the comments, but we would actually see soot prints all the way from the beginning of the hallway all the way to the back. The most really crazy thing about the whole story, and this happened before we moved out, and my brother went ahead and did give me permission to use this story. I had to ask him. Me and my friend, we were she was over spending the night at the house, and we were getting ready to go to sleep, and my brother starts screaming out in pain, like, I mean, screaming Bloody Mary, like at the very top of his lungs. And my mom's yelling for me to come out here. When I went out there, I kid you not, I saw a demon, and I'll explain to you what he looked like. We had also, I think this was whenever we got a different caption, so it was a lazy boy that had a pull-out bed to it. He was laying on the bed, and my mom had his hand on the Bible, but as soon as I stepped into the living room, I mean, I can picture him clear as day, and I'll try to find the drawing that I drew of him. About a couple days later, I went out to the living room, and I could see them, and then all of a sudden I saw this very tall figure, about 8 foot tall, had a very black cloak on, pointed chin. He had burnt red skin with these very dirty horns, and his teeth were really badly yellow and green and pointed, and his eyes were almost like snake eyes, and he was smiling, and you could see him like almost like doing this little witchy thing over him, like trying to possess my brother. My brother kept screaming that it's burning his eyes, that it's hurting him, it's trying to kill him. And so I told Mom that she needed to leave with him, that she needed to take him out. When he got out of the house, he was fine, like it eased up. As soon as she brought him back, it would start all over again. Like he would start yelling and screaming in pain. This demon also had pointed ears, the burnt red skin, glowing snake eyes, the pointed chin. He had like almost like a goatee in a way, and a long like beard. And like I said, I'll try and find the picture that I drew of him when I was younger, but I can't guarantee I'll find it. I think my mom has it put up somewhere. But like I said, she would bring my brother back in, and it would calm down. She'd bring him back in, and it would start up. And she'd take him out, and it would stop. And it was immediately after he left the house, immediately he would calm down. I do recordings from my phone. I wanted to add this in, going back to review, since that was my second time filming the video. Try and get everything in there. The reason that the house we were forced to move out is it did flood. So the whole, they put us up in a hotel for a while, but the whole, the floorboard had flooded out. We don't know what caused it, but we think it was paranormal because there was no explanation as to why the house flooded out. It was, the whole floor was basically caving in, so they made us sleep in a hotel for a while, say about a month or so, and my dogs and my brother stayed back at home to make sure everything was safe. But that's why we actually had to move out of the house. And I think if there's anything else that really happened when I was little, I don't think so, but if you like these kind of videos, like and subscribe. Like I said, this was supposed to go up yesterday, so I apologize for the late video. Remember, we're gonna have Manic Mondays where I talk about the paranormal experiences I've had, and then Wednesdays I'm gonna just kind of sit down with you guys. And I'm also gonna try and upload another video tomorrow, maybe about some kind of beauty products that I'm really into lately. Not sure exactly what tomorrow is going to be out yet, but I will let you guys know on my Twitter and Instagram. Go follow me. That's where I keep up with things that are going on in my life. So I guess if you like these kind of videos, like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me, and ring that notification bell. Thanks guys, have a good evening.